Yo, what is poppin', my guys? It is your boy Ashley, and today we are bringing y'all our week 2 battle for the IBA. Now, if you guys have been keeping up, we snagged a nice 3-0 victory in week 1 of the IBA, which is super exciting. Always nice to start off the season on a good note. However, for our second game, we were playing Deneki, coach of the Roseradenborg. And let me tell you guys, if you don't know who Deneki is, he is an insanely good battler. I've seen this dude battle in a couple of different leagues, like through replays and stuff like that. And, you know, he's good. I'm super scared for the matchup. To be honest, we'll just go ahead and roll through his team real quick. He has Blastoise, Kartana, Keldeo, Stakataka, Ninetales Alola, Rabombi, Omastar, Regirock, Jellicent, Mega Sceptile, and Heracross. So his team is stupid offensive, and pretty much any one of these Pokemon can give me an absolute huge problem. Now, I brought lots of different things this week, so we'll just run through our prep real quick. We went ahead and brought our boy Hoopa Unbound Swish to start off with. He is very bulky with 252 HP EVs, 48 into special defense, and the Assault Vest, making it very bulky on the special side with that base 130, I believe. Let's double check with the crowd. Yeah, 130 special defense, which is absolutely insane. 208 attack EVs with a plus attack nature, being adamant, obviously. Lets us secure key KOs on things. It's been a while since I went through with this prep. I prepped with Nova this week. Shout out to Nova. Obviously, a Magician is the ability. We have Fire Punch to hit things like the Rabombi, the Ninetales. Does good damage to Kartana, as well as the Drain Punch can also do a good chunk. Basically, my goal with this Hoopa was to get it in, power up, punch it up, and basically just start boosting through his team. We'll obviously see if we'll get around to that, but that was the general idea. It wasn't super speedy. There was always the option to speed pass into it, and if we did speed pass into it, obviously throwing up the power up punch and trying to break through as many things as possible was the end goal. But this set was built without the speed passing function in mind, so it was mainly just a specially bulky, very hard hitting attacker. Next up, we have Discord Orb, our Gliscor. This boy has Toxic Orb with Poison Heal. It's got Earthquake, Roost, Defog, and Stealth Rock. Very defensive set this week. Not a whole lot innovative about this Gliscor set. I just desperately needed rocks for things like Sash Kartana, Blastoise, just to get chip damage on that, making it so that the Ninetales can't be coming in. Breaking potential sashes on Rabombi, Omastar. He has a lot of Pokemon here that really like to run Sash. So I definitely needed to get those rocks up to prevent any focus Sash shenanigans. That was hard to say, but that was the main reason Gliscor was here, was to keep his hazards off the field while keeping mine up, and basically just having a wall to some of these things like Kartana, to Stakataka, to, let's see, this Regirock. This Pokemon does a great job of walling those Pokemon. So yeah, that's why I brought it. Not much more explanation needed. We have Wally the Shaman, Leftovers, Natural Cure. It's got Hidden Power Fire, Earth Power, Seed Flare, and Leech Seed. Now, I think that possibly we would be better off without Seed Flare. Seed Flare doesn't really hit. I mean, it hits Keldeo, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is hit super effectively by either Hidden Power Fire or Earth Power. I guess for Omastar as well, we did need the Seed Flare, but I feel like that moveslot could have been used better by something else. Obviously, I know that seeing the game ahead of me, so whatever. You know, I'm just gonna quit. We'll see as the battle goes on. The Seed Flare didn't really end up doing a whole lot for me. I really should do these team builders for the battle, but The spread itself is one that I ran in testing. I ran a mock against somebody, and this set right here, this defensive set, does a fantastic job of walling Kartana. So as long as he's got that Kartana on the team, this Shaman is essential to staying alive, because it is the only thing on my team that really wants to hard wall Kartana. Scolipede can't really wall it that well once Kartana has gotten the ball rolling offensively. My Mega Aerodactyl can't really take anything. I don't really like playing around with crits and anything like that on my Gliscor. My Hoopa is not physically defensive at all, so while it does have a lot of HP investment, a Kartana with the +1 boost can easily tear through this Hoopa, or a +2 boost. You know how it goes. These things tend to snowball pretty quickly, and I have one more Pokemon who is decimated by Kartana. I know I spoiled 2 of them already that are going on with, so we'll just go ahead and move on to the next one, being Harden, our Mega Aerodactyl. So this mon is very essential: Taunt, Aerial Ace, Flamethrower, and Rock Slide. It's got 216 speed, timid nature, I guess jolly nature, because it is a physical attacker. So with 232 in attack, all of these spreads were handmade by my man Nova, so I'm not sure exactly what we do. I do know that this Aerodactyl outspeeds everything on his team though, and that we definitely need it to do. It's got Aerial Ace for things like Mega Heracross, Rabombi, Keldeo. It's got the Flamethrower for Kartana, which is very nice. Rock Slide hitting Blastoise, Ninetales. Lots of these Pokemon for super effective. It basically just gets the offensive coverage and speed to take out everything, as well as being able to taunt the Ninetales, which is super important, meaning that it cannot get that Aura Veil up. So we also have Scolipede, a fantastic little mon here. We have an Expert Belt Speed Boost set running Poison Jab, Superpower, Toxic Spikes, and Protect. We actually choose not to do Speed Pass option this week. I totally forgot. So yeah, that Hoopa set was really designed not to be using Speed Pass because we did not have the time pass this week. I liked having Toxic Spikes and Protect, as well as Poison Jab and Superpower coverage. Now, obviously, there's some things I'm missing out on by not running Earthquake, but not very much. Superpower tends to do a lot more damage across the board, essential for hitting mons like Stack Attacka, while Poison Jab is going to do a hefty chunk to Rabombi, that Alolan Ninetales, that Mega Sceptile, most importantly, because once we get a little bit of our speed up, this thing is going to be able to start putting down the hurt on some of his speedier attackers on his team. So speed was definitely the name of the game here. He has Blastoise, Kartana, he has Ninetales, Alola, he has Rabombi, he has Mega Sceptile. His team is very fast, so we needed a way to get faster than his team on the offensive side. So finally, we have Goofy Bill, the Komala. This is Assault Vest and my main answer to Blastoise. A Fire Blast to an Assault Vest Komala at neutral only does, I think, let me see, I think it was like 30% or something. We may get to see in this game, I can't remember, but I know in my mocks it only did like 30%. So that is very good, as well as being able to do some serious damage with Sucker Punch, U-turning out on potential switches, possibly endeavoring down an opponent who, like for example, if I've revealed Sucker Punch and I'm on, very low health, I'm in red health, and he sees that I have a Pokemon in, he's like, oh, okay, this Komala knows Sucker Punch, it's about to knock me out here, and he goes for a switch into something to stunt on my Sucker Punch, and I hit Endeavor, I can bring whatever he switches into to low health and then use Sucker Punch to take it out as well. So I really like this set. In theory, I really wanted to put Wish on here, but because of the Blastoise, we absolutely had to have the Assault Vest. There really was no alternative with a max special defense nature, just because we needed to tank as many hits from that Blastoise as possible, because nothing else on my team like to take it on. If it was choice specs, there's definitely ways I could have played around it, but not for long. A non-choice locked set can absolutely tear through my team. So without further ado, we'll just go ahead and see what he ended up bringing. So he goes Blastoise, Heracross, Regirock, Ninetales, Alola. his Jellicent and Mega Skeptile. Sorry about that. That was my chair. Hey, what's up? I sit on a bar stool. I'm getting a chair soon. I'm, you know, updating. Ooh, we have the color scheme on light. Let's go ahead and throw that on dark. Yeah, I know that doesn't change anything for y'all, but for me, it does. So, yeah, so as you can see, he brought a rather offensive team. Very, very relieved not to see Jellicent. Very, very relieved not to see Kartana, because Kartana was something I was very, very scared of. The offensive core of Kartana and Blastoise was horrifying. It's very, very, very scary, almost to the point where I did most of my prep around those two mons. So on one hand, I was very glad to see that Kartana did not come, but on the other hand, now I'm looking at this Mega Skeptile and this Blastoise and this Ninetales, and then back down at my Komala and realizing that he has to wall all three of those Pokemon, because they're all special attackers, and he's the only special wall I have. I bulk down on the physical walls. So we have a little bit of an uphill battle ahead of us, but I think I convinced myself that this is a winnable game. It will not be an easy to win game. We do not have the matchup advantage or the experience advantage, because Daniki has obviously played way more than we have, and he's a much better player. So uphill battle all around, but hopefully we can pull it out. Let's go ahead and pop into it and start. He has his Alolan Ninetales, while I have my Mega Aerodactyl. So obviously here I predicted that he would lead off with that. I really just needed to get the taunt off. I did not want him to get the veil up, so we're gonna throw out the taunt here onto his Regirock, which means that he cannot set up Stealth Rocks. So here I hard switch out. I don't want to risk taking a Stone Edge from this Regirock, so I go straight into my Discord Orb. This also gives me the opportunity to get my Poison Heal popping, and once I get that toxic damage, it's going to move me up about to oh no, sorry, it doesn't activate this turn. Here I take this opportunity to get my rocks up. I thought about hard switching back into Aerodactyl, but I felt like we would just be looping over and over again, and decided to sacrifice the veil for the rocks. Now here I decided to defog, which is really stupid, because if I was just going to defog, I knew that the Aura Veil was coming, right? So if I had just decided that I wanted to defog, I should have just defogged on that turn and tried to convince him that I was going to defog, made my switch into something like Komala, done something else. But just setting up the rocks there to then immediately defog them away it's kind of dumb. I should have thought about that. I definitely should have made the aggressive switch to Aerodactyl, but we didn't. So you live with your decisions. So after this, we are going to switch out into our Aerodactyl now, which was another bad play, because see, in my mind I was like, okay, so yeah, he is going to set up the Aura Veil now, again, after I've defogged. There's nothing I can do to stop him, so I might as well get into my Aerodactyl, because my Aerodactyl outspeeds him, and if for some reason he decides to go, that was my thought, for a Blizzard, I know I can live that, because we're EV'd to live one Blizzard in Hail from Ninetales. Well, the thing that I didn't think about is that there's no reason he would go for a Blizzard there. He has every advantage just to set up the Aura Veil. He can live anything coming out from my Gliscor. I basically fell into the trap of where you make a mistake and then try to correct it. So I just did that multiple times in a row. I threw up the Stealth Rocks instead of getting the Aura Veil. I chose to do Stealth Rocks instead of hard switching to my taunt user. To make up for that mistakes, I decided I would get rocks up, even though I figured there was a high chance that they would come in. Well, obviously that didn't work out. So instead of playing from there, being like, okay, I can go into my Komala here to try and force him out because of the very little damage he's doing, maybe convince him to go into something else to try and set up, etc. Instead of making a different play, I kept following that train of thought, trying to correct the play that I had made earlier. And as you can see, it's really going to kind of put me in a bit of a hole here to start the match. I'm going to taunt here, which is stupid because there's nothing to stop him from doing, as he's going to get off a very big freeze dry and bring me down to about 38%. I'm a hard switch right here into Scolipede because I know I can take a freeze dry. Not very very well, but I can take it. I'm going to go ahead and protect here, trying to waste some of this Aura Veil as I see that he is hidden power fire, so I don't really want to mess with that. I know that I can't live an HP fire from this range, so I am just going to go out right into my Komala, which I should have just done in the first place. Well, I have to cough. Sorry. Which I should have just done in the first place. I should have just gone out to Komala. This is my special defensive wall. I had no reason to try and hard switch into Scolipede. Again, I'm not playing my best here, making a lot of decisions. Obviously, another thing is it's a lot easier in hindsight to look back and see the decisions we made and agree that they were bad decisions. At the time, I obviously justified them in my head about why they were good, but something that's very therapeutic about watching replays and doing commentary on them for me is seeing the areas where I could have done better and to try and just point those out so that maybe other people can learn from my mistakes, learn with me, you know. So we'll go ahead and go back into it. As you can see, that did absolutely nothing, and the Aura Veil is going to wear off, so he can't reset it because the hail isn't up. I'm just going to go right here for an Earthquake. I thought that he might switch into his Regirock and took a gamble. Obviously, it didn't work out. This gives me a free switching into my Shaman, though, as he's just going to double right back into his Ninetales. Now, I thought about bringing Taunt, or okay, I'll put it this way. I didn't think about bringing Taunt on this Shaman until we were sitting in the max. I don't even know if it gets Taunt, but I immediately regretted bringing Seed Flare about right now. I went for the Leech Seed because it's got some nice little residual damage, and it kind of tries to force this thing to switch. We are going to switch right here into our hard wall. As you can see, I saw how well it was walling, and I go, oh wow, we're just going to keep going into this. It only lost 13% of its health right there, so yeah, that would have been the great move first time. Now he's going to switch hard out into his Heracross, as we are just going to U-turn here, knowing pretty well that he was going to switch, and even if he didn't, getting that nice little priority. So I did the calcs, and we still OHKO with Aerial Ace through the through the Aura Veil. So we just go for it. He does hard switch into his Regirock, which is a good play, but there's not really, I mean, it was pretty obvious play there, just trying to preserve the Heracross. He is going to use this opportunity to set up his rocks, which is really nice, but because he can't do a whole lot to my Gliscor, this is going to give me a very, very free defog right here. So I'm still very, very scared this thing might be packing Bullet Seed or something like that. So I am going to hard switch out into my Aerodactyl, as he is just going to Swords Dance. So that's very, very nice. It shows me that he is not Choice Scarfed and that I will outspeed him, and he knows that he can't afford to stay in on the Aerial Ace. We're going to go right for it again as he switches hard into Regirock. Here I'm going to Taunt to prevent him from setting up the Stealth Rocks, which is very nice. And here I make the crucial mistake of hitting Flamethrower. Now, during the game, he has been predicting my switches and reading me very well the whole game. I didn't make good decisions. I think had I made better decisions on accepting my fate, not trying to go back and change a mistake after the turn that I had done it, I feel like he wouldn't have wouldn't have as much of a read on me as he does now. But here I genuinely thought that I could catch him trying to double into something. I didn't think he would be doubling into Jellicent, and I didn't think he would be doubling into Blastoise. I was hoping that he would expect me to double into my Gliscor and go into either his Sceptile, his Ninetales, or his Heracross. But obviously, as you can see, he does not. As we fire off the Flamethrower, do 5%, and he is going to connect and knock us out with the Stone Edge. Now, losing Mirror, basically this match is lost at this point right here. I can always try and come back and win, but there's no way I can really beat his entire team without that Aerodactyl. It forces him to switch. Now, the only thing on my team that's outspeeding anything on his team, like literally anything on his team, is the Scolipede. Everything else on his team, except for Jellicent and Regirock, outspeeds my entire team. And the only form of priority I have is Sucker Punch on Komala. So there's really not, the game is lost at this point, and we're just playing for differential. I'm going to go into Hoopa here, and I am going to make another mistake. I should have hit Drain Punch here, or Power Up Punch, one of the two, right? But for some reason, I couldn't even tell you why, because it's resisted. Basically, the only way this would be a good idea is if he hard switched Jellicent or Blastoise. And he obviously wasn't going to do that on a Mon that was super effective with them stab-wise. So instead of throwing off the Drain Punch here, or throwing off the Power-Up Punch, I throw off the Hyperspace Fury, which does get a crit, right? Which is super nice. But he is going to Stone Edge and bring me down to 30%. He switches out, goes right here into his Alolan Ninetales, as we are going to fire off the Drain Punch. It does a lot of damage. It brings me back up to 50%. However, had we Power Up Punched on that first time against the Regirock, a Drain Punch would have either A, knocked out the Regirock, or B, knocked out this Ninetales after a Power Up Punch. Plus, we would have been around 100% health, because we would not have taken 70% from the Stone Edge, because we would not have been -1 defense, right? So going for the Hyperspace Fury, even though we got the crit and did 50%, was still a horrible, horrible, horrible play. One that I have no reason for making and really regret to this day. Because, as you'll see on this turn, I've done the calcs, and from this range, I 100% live a Moonblast from a max attack a max attack timid Alolan Ninetales. And don't worry, he is timid, but he gets the crit and kills us. So I can't be too mad about the crit, because even if I had preserved the Hoopa the way I was supposed to and played with it smarter instead of just smashing Hyperspace Fury after saltily losing my Mega Aerodactyl, then I would have lived that critical hit, gotten off another Drain Punch, gotten up my stuff a little bit, gotten rid of this Alolan Ninetales, and started the ball rolling, trying to get draw this Regirock back in, which it can do very easily on my Scolipede. Nothing else on his team really wants to switch into my Scolipede, I guess, except for Jellicent, but we have answers for that as well. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that if I had played better with my Hoopa, I could have knocked out either the Regirock or this, possibly both, because he would not have known that I was Assault Vest. I would have knocked out the Regirock after the Power Up Punch with the Drain Punch if he did not switch. You see what I'm saying? That play right there also lost me a lot of momentum, and I really wasn't playing my best because I was a little disheartened by making the misplay on the Aerodactyl. I got in my head too much. I looked at Danicki and I thought to myself, damn, there's no way I can beat him. He's proving right now that he's flexing all over me. And when you have that opinion, when you have that thought, that's what happens. They run over you. So we'll just keep going here. He is going to recover a little bit with leftovers as I go hard Scolipede. He is going to switch out as I just go for the Protect. And I'm sorry, I go for the Toxic Spikes. Finally making a good read. And assuming he'll be switching. I do get my speed boost here, and I am going to switch right back out into my Shaman, because my Shaman does a good job of walling this Jellicent, as you'll see. He does get the burn on the first Scald, but it doesn't really matter because I do have Natural Cure. So, man, that is a lot of text to be scrolling up. I'm in an Earth Power trying to predict the switch into the Blastoise, because I figure that it would be easy for him just to end the game at this point. And he's actually going to go for the Taunt. The smart thing would have been to Leech Seed, but, you know, whatever. I'm in a Seed Flare here that's obviously not going to do anything to the Mega Sceptile. I should have done it earlier, but I was trying to reconcile the decisions that I made. You know, same old, same old. So here, he is going to set up a substitute on my switch to Goofy Bill. So that is really bad, because yes, I do have the Toxic Spikes up and he is poisoned, but there's still a lot of things he can do behind this sub, and he's bound to take out at least one of my Pokemon here, which is very, very unfortunate, seeing as I have 4 left. So once he gets the substitute up, I was hoping he might go for something like a Leech Seed or, you know, etc. And instead of going into my Shaman, which hard walls it, I went into my Scolipede, took a Dragon Pulse to the face, and died. So that was not a great play at all. that Scolipede really was the last thing that could have gotten me differential in this game. As you can obviously see, these mons aren't going to do it. I go ahead, hit the U-turn on the Leech Seed, which is really nice, and go into my Shaman here. Now see, this would have been a perfect time to U-turn into my Scolipede. I should have gone into Goofy Bill first, but I just was not playing the way that I wasn't thinking my moves through. It really just felt like I lost and was clicking buttons. I gave up on this game almost before it even started, just because I was playing Dan and he's a fantastic player. As you can see, he's just gonna hard sweep through here with this Heracross, which is definitely unfortunate, but I mean, dude, the natural gift with ice is insanely cool. I was so upset that I got smacked down like this, but I was still very appreciative that he managed to sweep with the natural gift, with the natural gift Heracross. But some thoughts about this game. This was one of my favorite times I've been 6-0'd, I guess, if that's any reconciliation. Great game to Deneki. He obviously outplayed the shit out of me. He outprepped me. He's a much better player than I am. I think a lot of people forget, because I've been doing I've been doing it so consistently. Or not, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I guess people forget that I just started less than a year ago. So like, I have 0 draft league experience. This is like my 4th or 5th league. So I definitely still have a lot to learn. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It was a really interesting game. I felt like I was thinking more, even though you could not tell by the replay, because as you heard me dissect every turn of that game, I feel like I didn't play super well, but I feel like there's a lot to grow on, and I get to play him again, which is super exciting. I think there are things from my team that worked, and there's things from my team that didn't work, and I'm very excited to try and bridge the gap next time. So I will see all you guys next time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the bullshit, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.